One of my most favorite ways of looking at the world is how to figure out how to make lemonade out of lemons. So when something really terrible happens to you, there is always a way to use what I call emotional alchemy in order to come out the other side and get something out of it. And every single experience we have in this lifetime actually is just a learning experience. It's all for us to expand and learn and grow. But I know sometimes situations get out of hand, and I know that some of the most difficult experiences that you've ever had in your life, it is really hard to think about them this way. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit about my own personal journey and share with you guys 3 things that being gaslighted taught me. So if you guys want to find out what those 3 things are, be sure to keep watching. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen. I am a life coach and law of attraction teacher, and this is my YouTube community. I'm so excited to have you guys here. If you don't know what I talk about, every week I share something to do with mindset and manifestation, all the tools that you really need in order to create your best life. So if you want to be part of the journey, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. So today we're gonna get a little bit personal, you guys, and I'm gonna share a little bit about an experience that I've had. And I have talked about this experience in a few different ways on this channel and on my blog. But if you don't know my story, basically a few years ago now, like it's been quite a few years now, I used to be married. I used to have a business with my husband. I used to live in this amazing loft apartment. And in the course of one weekend, that all went away. So my husband broke up with me. I had to move out. Therefore, I didn't have a company anymore. So basically, I didn't have a home, a husband, or a job all at once. And it was devastating. So I've told that story before, but I have never really talked about the other stuff that kind of went along with that. But another part of that experience, and another reason why that time in my life was so devastating, is that there was a layer of emotional abuse happening, which I can now identify as gaslighting. At the time, I had no idea what was happening. At the time, I felt like I was losing my mind. And again, this whole experience, this whole breakup, this whole having to start my life all over again, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but in the end today, like I would not be here today, literally making this video and talking to you guys if this experience hadn't happened to me. So it's not like I'm saying that this stuff has to happen to you. Like if you can get through life without anything devastating, that's wonderful. But I just wanted to share how over time and with a lot of introspection and a bit more of a spiritual approach to things, you can take away lessons from almost anything. And then you switch out of this why me mentality, which is the ultimate in victim mode. And victim mode does not help you to become your best self and live your best life. It makes you trapped in this old era and this old way of thinking. The only way you can really move on is to take, you know, what you can from the experience and take responsibility for what is yours and move on. And when you can do that, you can really learn some amazing things that you can apply for the rest of your life. So this is my experience. Again, looking back, I would not wish this on anybody, but I want to share with you guys some of my biggest lessons from this experience. So with no further ado, the number one thing I learned from this time was that I am worthy of love. And that might seem like an obvious thing, but if you have somebody in your life that is trying to tell you you're worthless, blame everything on you, telling you that, you know, there's something wrong with you, basically, it can be really hard to feel that you are worthy of love and feel that you are, you know, somebody valuable in life. So when you're told this, especially by somebody that you care about or that was once very important to you, it can be really hard not to internalize those messages, right? And especially if they are not treating you well, if they're discarding you. Like I had the classic narcissist discard. That was basically my situation. I'm not going to do a video about narcissism, but if you are wondering what that is, you can Google narcissism discard. But yeah, so what I found this experience to be is like, this is how I look at a lot of life. Like, we are all ultimately just love at our core. We are source. Source is love. We are all that. We come here and then we kind of forget. And we experience various things through our life that are kind of making us forget our true power and our true nature. And really part of the trick of life is learning to hold on to who we really are and remembering that we are still worthy of love, no matter what the world throws at us, no matter, like, you know, the ads on TV all tell us that, you know, we're too old or overweight or whatever. It is your job to keep holding on to the love. It is also your job to keep holding on to the love when somebody in your life is trying to tell you that you are not worthy. So I can see that this is just the ultimate experience in that, the ultimate test, right? And for a while I was failing the test because I wasn't into myself. I wasn't feeling that anymore. But over time, of course, with healing, I've come back to remember to love myself and to remember who I really truly am. And so that really is in many ways a gift, because losing something and coming back to something just makes you appreciate it all the more. So that is my number one takeaway from dealing with a gaslighting situation. Number two things that I learned from being gaslighted is to trust myself. So this kind of touches on what I was just talking about. But when somebody is telling you the sky is green and you're looking at the sky saying, no, the sky is blue, the sky is blue, the sky is blue, and this person is like, no, it's green, it's green, it's green. It kind of messes with you, even though you think you know. After a certain point, you start to question yourself and you start to even allow the possibility that this person is giving you to be maybe true. So when you start to doubt yourself though, like, it just erodes everything. It erodes your confidence. It erodes like how you show up in life. It's not a good feeling, and you start to question everything, all of your decisions, your past decisions, your potential future decisions. Like, it all comes into question when you don't trust yourself. So again, this is something that I had to learn to come back to. It didn't happen immediately, but I now know if something is telling me something, I need to trust my gut. My gut is never wrong. The times that I get in trouble in my life is when I don't listen to my gut. So in this situation, which is a bit extreme to be fair, I knew my truth. I knew what reality was, and I had to keep questioning it over and over and over again, and it was awful. And if I'm ever called into another situation like this, I will be very quick to remember this past experience and to remember that I really, you know, saw the truth, witnessed the truth, have my own truth in here, and this truth cannot be altered. The experience that I had and the things that I saw cannot be altered by anyone's outside opinion. If you don't trust yourself, it is really difficult for you to do anything really in your life, because everything that you even say or think is going to feel like a lie on some level. So developing your self-trust is huge. And if anything is taking that away from you, that is really a red flag for you to come back to yourself, right? Like, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. Your relationship with yourself is number one, and trust is a huge part of that. So that is my second takeaway, is understanding this, understanding how important trusting myself is, and coming back to trust myself even more than I did before. My trust was shaken, but I got it back. So that is my second lesson. My third and final thing that I learned from my gaslighting breakup experience is that knowledge is power. So I kind of touched on this at the beginning, but when I had this experience of gaslighting, I hadn't even heard the word gaslighting before. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that this was a thing. I didn't know that other people had experienced this. And honestly, if I had known, it would have been so powerful. So this is one concrete example about how knowledge is power. So when you can't name something, It is so easy for your brain to fall into traps, to fall for the lies, to get confused, to allow you to stop trusting yourself, all of that. Like when you start to feel crazy, if somebody puts ideas in your mind that make you question reality, it is so easy to fall off of your power and to fall away from your trust and your self-love and all of that. So I think I just would have saved myself some anguish if I could even explain what was happening to me. But I didn't even have the words to explain what was happening to me. Like, this was several years ago now, and I know now if you go on YouTube, there's a lot of information out there about gaslighting. And I personally found the more I learn about this, the better. The more words I have to describe what happened to me and to describe my experience, the better. So one thing that I would really recommend to anybody, if you're having any kind of confusing experience in life and you are finding it maybe difficult to put into words, like I would try to Google it and see if there's anyone else out there, if there's any forums or anybody that can help you get some clarity about, first, about what it's called, and second, about how to handle it. Those two things are so key. Knowledge is power, you guys. And if you cannot even name the thing that is happening to you, I guarantee you will not be able to fix it, right? Because you're not gonna know. It's like somebody's throwing throwing something at you, but you don't know what it is. You can't even see it. You can't identify it. Identifying something is so key in being able to, you know, deal with it, and deal with it internally and in your actual reality, like dealing it with in both ways. You need to identify it. And so knowledge is key. So I really just recommend that you guys read about whatever's happening to you. Google it. If it's feeling wrong, if it's feeling weird, Google that shit. You don't know. I'm not saying everyone's going to have a gaslighting experience. So whatever unique experience is coming to you, make sure you can figure out what it is. You have to name it in order to change it. So name it, you guys. Figure out what it is. I did not do that, and that is my last takeaway. Next time, if I'm feeling so strange and so out of control and so not like myself, I'm gonna Google the situation. I'm gonna figure out what this name is, because I guarantee you are not the first person that this has happened to, and you will not be the last person this has happened to. There are people out there that can help you, and if you can even figure out what the keywords are to put into Google, Google will be able to help you. So figure it out, do some homework, and yeah, and I'm going to take that and apply that to my life going forward, right? Because it is, again, knowledge is key, knowledge is power. So what did you guys think? Did you guys get anything out of this video? I hope that me opening up a little bit and being a little bit more personal can kind of illustrate how, you know, some of these things that I talk about in theory can actually be applied to your life. Humans are here to live messy lives, and we will never know the why. And there isn't even really a why. Things that are quote unquote bad are going to happen to us from time to time, but it is up to you to keep the faith in yourself. It is up to you to keep going. And if you can alchemize this, like I just explained, figuring out what the lesson is, figuring out what this was here to teach you, figuring out how ultimately this experience made you a bigger, brighter, stronger person in the end, that stuff is so powerful. Like, I'm never gonna wake up and think, you know, like, it's a weird thing to say that I'm thankful for those experiences that happened to me, but in a way I am, because this literally ignited me in this certain direction. And again, like I said before, I probably wouldn't be here right now if this hadn't happened to me. Sometimes getting the rug yanked out from underneath you is the best thing to ever happen to you. And I know at the time when it's happening, you're going to want to punch me for saying that, but it is going to be true in the end. It is just up to you to figure out what the lessons are and to grow from there. And I guarantee you there are lessons, and I guarantee you there is something for you. There's something here that's meant for you. My experience was meant for me to bring my message into the world and to be stronger and louder and express myself more. And that is what I've done. So I hope that this whole experience has taught you guys something. I hope you took something beautiful away from this today. If you have any comments or questions, drop them below. I'd love to hear the discussion about this situation. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about this, you guys, and what experiences you have done emotional alchemy to come out the other side braver and stronger and better. If you like this video, please do me a favor and give it a like. If you know somebody that could use this message, please do me another favor and pass it along to them. I would really love your help in growing this community. If you want to learn more about me, come on over to the site. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Be sure to grab your free fear breakthrough worksheet. I always twist my words at that point. Make sure you come over and grab your worksheet, you guys, because we all have to deal with fear. Fear is such a big factor in everybody's life, and this worksheet is going to help every single one of you who downloads it. I guarantee it. So come on over and grab yours. I'll be back here soon in the next video. So until then, I'm wishing you an amazing week. And just remember, as always, get ready for the miracle. See you guys.